this morning.
Thank you. Thank you.
The floor is yours, sir.
Thank you. What I'll do this morning is walk through with you the different challenges of being understanding what we call the importance of financial literacy. And so the topic today is what we call how to achieve financial freedom. Yeah. Okay. So for me, this is very important. And but the next slide is the most exciting, which is I think is it's our advocacy. How to achieve financial confidence. No? So that's the one that is this is more important. No? Where's the slide? Okay. So what is financial confidence? The definition of financial confidence. Having the confidence that you have the skill and ability to make money anytime, anywhere. So this was asked to me last year when I was in a conference, and they asked me, Mr. Lee, what is your legacy? The word is legacy. And I smiled and I said, so probably they thought that it could be what I built over the last 43 years, all the different institutions that I built. But what I shared with them is it is my family and the people that I impact. So that's the reason why even when Jane Pascual called me, he said, Edward, can you do this? I said, yes. Because from a very long time ago, I wrote down in my diary and in my journal, he said that I will not deny any person who is seeking knowledge and seeking our wisdom. That's the most important. Okay, so the biggest challenge today, and what Dr. Malyari was saying is very, very true, is that what is the reason why most people fail? And that's the next slide, is what is really your psychological roadblock? That is for us the most important. No? I was just very fortunate. Even though I was very poor in my academics, I was loved unconditionally, and I've shared this so many times. I was loved unconditionally by my parents. My parents never criticized me, and it was always a lot of motivation, empowering. Like Dr. I used to work also for 8 pesos a day in a computer center, which is still today is doing all the things for us for COL Financial. Okay, so what is this psychological roadblock that which we have to gild every day? The next slide is, it's the trauma. The traumas that we have. One is maybe you have you come from a very strict parents. You have a broken family wherein there was no love in the family. You have absentee parents, especially today. Absentee parents, because most of our parents have to go outside, OFW, to work outside to send money in, right? And a lot of the rich people, the biggest challenge is because of the high expectation, the high standards that is being pressured for a lot, especially for a lot of professionals who are very successful. They expect that their children should be the same as them. Let's say if you're a doctor, engineer, so you keep on pushing your children to the point wherein they get burned out, they become rebellious. And these are the challenges in raising children. These are the challenges. Like even me, what I did was I always share this with my children. One is that the environment is totally different. When I was starting, I had to work 8 pesos a day and start doing all these things, learning how to invest in the market, learning and understand the financial markets. And it took me a long, long time just to be able to be where I am today. But today, since we're doing well, the biggest challenge is, do you expect your children to be like you? Which is very different environment. A lot of parents, especially a lot of rich people, expect that their children, they send them to the best education in the world, and expect their children, high expectation for them to do well, to be like them, which is totally impossible because, like I always said, it's a totally different environment, and you need to love them unconditionally also and spend time with them so that you have a good relationship, right? And that teach them the values that is the most important. The most important, like what Dr. Malyari was saying, is that you need to understand how to basically adjust and accept the different challenges in life. Okay, so this will be the part which I'll try to close in the end. The second is really just understanding what we did is for the last 40 years of my experience in the financial market. I brought it down into 3 categories. One is what we call passive investing. Second is after 10 years of investing, you need to understand active investing. And then the last is the most difficult, which I think a lot of the young people are participating right now. It is what we call active trading. No? So what we did was we compartmentalized it because we have a school, it's called Caleb Trading Institute, is we teach people how to understand all the 3 different strategy. No? Different strategy. Okay, so let's look at this simple passive investing. This is for all of you who are, I heard it's about 2nd, 3rd year, even high school students. I give a lot of talks to our high school alumni. I work with the JA high school entrepreneurs program. And this is basically the most important. Passive investing. Very simple. Okay, let's go to it. This is the statistics. At age 25, when you reach 60, most of the retirement, most people, look at the numbers. Only 1% will be successful, will be wealthy. 4% will be financially independent. 5% will still need to work. 27%, especially maybe it's higher now because of the pandemic, will be dead. 63% will be broke. This is a statistic from Libra. Okay, so understand it. Today, at 60, you still need to work. You get retired, then you need to work for another 10, 20 years. Because if you don't understand financial literacy, how to manage your wealth, how to adjust it, you will have these challenges. And I will show you really the reason. The reason. The second slide is look at this, all these athletes, all the famous athletes, from Mike Tyson to Iverson, all these professional NBA players, after 5 years of retirement, most of them goes bankrupt, file for bankruptcy. And what is the reason why they have to file for bankruptcy? Because they don't understand what we call the 3 basic law of money. What is this 3 basic law of money? The first one is, kailangan marunong kang tumabi ng pera. So, for example, most of you are still students. You have some allowances. You have to have that discipline. Nagtatabi ka na ng pera. Maski na 50 pesos. Let's say, for example, you have an allowance of 100 pesos. Magtabi ka ng 10 pesos. Maliit lang, pero magtabi ka na rin. No? This is creating that discipline na kailangan naintindihan mo yan. You need to pay yourself. This is from the book of The Rich Man of Babylon. No? The Rich Man of Babylon. So, ang ginawa ko lang, sinimplified ko lang. You need to know how to save. Kailangan marunong ka magtabi. Whether 10%, 20%, gaano kaliit, hindi problema yan. Hindi problema yan. The problem is, you need to understand the second one. Saan mo ilalagay yung pera mo? Kung lalagay mo lang sa piggy bank, so alkansya, walang interest yan. Pag linagay mo sa bangko, 1%, sige, average 1% per year. It takes 72 years. Kailangan 72 years to double that money. So kailangan naintindihan mo yan. Kung saan mo ilalagay ang pera mo. Saan mo itatabi. Kasi kung nilalagay mo na sa most old people, like my mother-in-law, I found out that she put all her money into the closet. Tabi siya ng tabi. Nung hinalungkat na natin yung pera niya, puro mga fake na, mga Japanese, mga pera na mga Japanese currency in the 1940s during the war. So these are the things na kailangan maintindihan. Today, the topic is where to put it, where do you invest it? The second basic law. Saan mo ilalagay yan? No? So let's look at it. Let's look at the statistics. In the US, in the Philippines, inflation is a major issue, especially today because of the pandemic. Lahat tumataas yan. Ang 3.8 ngayon parang kulang. Kailangan mga 5 to 6%. So that's even worse. Yung pera mo na tinatabi, pero anong kinikita mo, kulang sa pangbayad ng yung kinukonsume mo everyday. Yung manok, yung isda, lahat tumataas. Ngayon, pati yung vegetables, lahat tumataas yan. So by statistics, going from numbers for the last 20, 30, 50 years, stocks still outperform all asset class, especially when you're starting. Nag-uumpisa ka lang, kailangan maintindihan mo yan. Kasi 10 pesos lang, 20 pesos, 50 pesos lang. Can you imagine? Saan mo ilalagay? How do you invest it? Ngayon, there are a lot of programs. A lot of programs. Let's say, for example, yung GCash. Pwede ka mag-invest 50 pesos lang. Nag-uumpisa ka na, nagtatabi ka na ng pera. Tapos 50 pesos, binabayaran ka na ng interest. Or you can invest in the mutual fund. So, there is no excuse for you not to understand it. Kailangan maintindihan mo yan. Marami na mga platform na wherein 50 pesos lang, pwede ka na mag-invest. That's the most important. Kailangan naintindihan mo yan. No? So that stocks over time, especially when you're young, wala ka pang alam, magtabi ka lang. Tatabi ka lang. 10, 20%. 10, 20%. Kaya kumain din ho kayo. But that's how it is. You have to believe that. Okay. The second slide is you have to look at it from a major macro position. During my time, anim na kudeta, Asian financial crisis, subprime, COVID-19. But over time, stocks will still outperform all asset class. Okay? Kailangan naintindihan niyo yan. Second slide. Next slide. Is investing time deposit versus stocks. If you put $1 million 2002, by 2021, 1.4 million lang ang average compounded return mo. At least kumita ka pa rin, 1.98. Problema, ang inflation mo, 4 to 5, 6%. So, talo ka pa talaga. Meaning, the money that you have, save, nalulugi ka araw-araw. Okay, so ang ginawa lang natin, sinimplify lang natin. Instead of depositing money in the bank, what you need to do, next slide, is you put your money in the biggest bank in the Philippines, Banco de Oro. Diba? You put 1 million pesos, at that time, presyo about 15 pesos. Today, the value is 6.5 million. It's still, the compounded rate of return is still higher than we just put it money. So in other words, let BDO, let the chairwoman, the COSON, the C family, works for you. Siya ang nagtatrabaho para sa iyo. Let them work for you. Let money works for you. Kailangan naintindihan niyo yan. No? The best CEO in the world, the C family, working for you. Kailangan maintindihan niyo yan. Hindi dinalagay mo pera mo sa bangko. Bumili ka na, magiging part owner ka na by investing in BDO. The second one of the oldest family in the Philippines, Bank of Philippine Island, 2000 8.65. So still, higher than inflation. So in other words, kung tinatabi mo lang pera mo, lumalago, wala kang ginagawa. The Ayala family working for you. Siya ang nagtatrabaho para sa inyo. Kailangan naintindihan niyo na. Kasi kung hindi mo naintindihan yan, you will be forever working. Di ba? Can you imagine you're sleeping and they're working for you? Saan nakahanap ng magandang... That's why the financial literacy, that's why I really love educating, going out, and then I love the J Phoenix for putting all these things together. The reason is simple, because in the Philippines we have more than 100 million people, and less than 1 to 2% knows anything about financial market. We have a lot of opportunity. The next 10, 20, 30 years, can you imagine, as our GDP increases, ano mangyayari sa capital market? Lalaki talaga yan. Lalaki talaga yan. Let's go back in time. Instead of 2002, let's say assuming in 1990, alam ko, some of you are not yet born, but isipin lang ninyo kung ginawa ng nanay niyo, tatay ninyo. 1990, the same 1 million pesos till today is worth 25 million. 1 million naging 25 million. Compounded rate of return of 10% a year. Mawawala ba yung BPI? Mawawala ba yung Ayala Corporation? Hindi sila mawawala. Can you imagine the same thing? Let the Ayala family works for you. Pagpunta ka ng BPI, nag-invest ka sa BPI, sasabihin mo sa branch na, akong may-ari dito. Part owner ako ng BPI. Can you imagine that? Hindi ba maganda yan? Di ba? Dapat naintindihan niyo yan eh. No? For example, the next one. This one is more challenging because prices in Metro Manila has gone up so much in Makati Business District. So you put $1 million today at 70,000 during that time. Today is worth 600, 700,000 pesos. Compounded rate of return ng property is 12.78%. So real estate is very, very important also as a diversification, real estate. The problem is, paano ba bibili ng real estate? Mahal-mahal ang mga lote. Di ba? And who owns the Central Business District? Makati. It's Ayala Land. So in other words, kung nag-uumpisa ka lang, bumili ka na ng Ayala Land. It's the same. The Ayala family is the one working for you. You put $1 million, it's worth 9 million, still higher than inflation, 12.78%. Okay? So, kailangan naintindihan niyo yan. Because this is the most basic. The next slide. Saan mo kukunin itong pera? Saan ka kukunin ng pera? Diba? Sinabi ko sa inyo kanina, kunin niyo ang allowance niyo, magtabi ka ng 10-20%. The thing is, for most of the youth, gusto niyo ng bubble tea, di ba? Tiger, di ba? Cha time. Yung mga manaba, cha goya tayo, di ba? Kami mga matatanda, gusto namin ng coffee. So I always use Starbucks as an example. Huh? Di ba? It's called the latte factor. A metaphor for all those small purchases that we don't even consider. Things we wind up wasting our money on without even realizing it. For example, pupunta ka ng Starbucks, bibili ka ng isang kape. Ako, for example, short Americano. Maswerte lang ako kasi may senior card ako. Di ba? 110 pesos, senior card, okay lang. Di ba? Pagpunta ko dito sa 7-Eleven, 25 pesos na yung kape niya. 25 pesos, masarap din. Di ba? So nagtatabi ka ng 100 pesos, 80 to 100 pesos. Ang problema kasi, pag Starbucks, pagpunta mo ron, parang feeling mo na parang social ka. Di ba? Magkikipag-sosyalan ka. In reality, if you are just starting, nag-uumpisa ka lang, kailangan, nagtatabi ka ng pera. Tinitipid mo yung 100 pesos. For example, yung daughter ko, mas matipid. Kasama ko pagka nagkita kami sa Starbucks sa baba. Pag nakita ko nung nagsaserve sa amin, oh, Mr. Lee, short Americano, alam na. Pag nakita yung daughter ko, hot cup of water. Tatabik siya, kukunin niya ang Sunmig 3-in-1, Barako, or yung Classic 3-in-1. So, ang laki ng tipid niya araw-araw. Look at the next slide. Look at the next slide. Kung nagtipid ka, sabi mo, 2 cups of coffee a day, 200 pesos, at 10% compounded rate of return. In 10 years, milyonaryo ka. Milyonaryo ka. Diba? So, people are saying that it's hard to become a millionaire. It's not true. Investing time in the market, slowly accumulating, nagtatabi ka na ng pera. Maski hindi umakyat ang market, hindi bali yan. Kasi for the last 10 years, binibentahan tayo ng foreigner. Tuloy-tuloy lang. Tabi ka ng tabi, bili ka ng bili, tipid ka ng tipid. After 10 years, there is no excuse that you will not become a millionaire. Nakatabi na yung pera mo. Simple lang yan. Very simple. It's called save, invest, reinvest to benefit from what we call the miracle of compounding. Go to the next slide. You can see it. So, indirectly, passive investing, long-term investing is the easiest. Huwag ka na mag-isip or bumili ka na ng PSE index fund. Ganun ka simple lang. So again, I will explain to you. Passive investing is the easiest, especially when you're starting. Wala ka pang pera, bata ka pa. You are way ahead of everybody. You are way ahead of everybody. Basta marunong ka lang magtabi. Pay yourself. Okay, 20%. Ilagay mo saan mo ilalagay? Let the big corporation, the index, basically, index stocks, in a basket para hindi ka matatakot. Invest it. And please, pag binigay kayo ng dividendo, reinvest it. Huwag mong gagastusin yan. Para kasi driver ko, after investing for 5 years, may pera, gustong bumili ng motorcycle. Sige, pinayagan ko, linabas niya ang pera niya. After 2 years, sabi na, sir, umakit na naman yung investment ko. Kung pwede, bumili na naman siya ng motorcycle. Bakit dalawang motorcycle bibili mo? Isa lang naman kailangan mo. Sir, coding. May coding. So yung mga people, when they see money inside their investment, I cannot blame him. Siyempre, parang hindi mo pera pag hindi mo ginastos, di ba? But they don't understand by deferring what we call gratification, delayed gratification, you will be able to achieve what the other 90% cannot achieve, which is wealth. And you are sleeping, natutulog ka, tinatabi mo lang, nag-i-invest ka lang. And there are all these major companies in the Philippines, all these blue chip companies in the Philippines are all working for you. So understand it, ha? Now, ano strategy natin? Simple strategy lang din ito. It's called, what we call, you have to understand what we call this, the emotional cycle of investing. Kasi ang hirap talaga sa stock market. Pag umakyat, nandyan na. Maglalagay ka ng mas maraming pera kasi kumikita ka. Tapos pag bumabaksak, may sale, parang may sale sa Mega Mall. Maraming tao. Pero pag nagsasale sa stock market, natatakot. Uy, mag-ano na sa West Philippine Sea, mag-gagera na. A lot of things can basically affect you because of your emotion. What are these 4 emotions that are most important? You have to understand greed, fear, hope, desperation. Or hope, greed, fear, desperation. You need to understand it. Once you understand it, then you will be okay. So the only strategy we basically recommend is simple, what we call the peso cost averaging. Huwag ka na mag-isip. Tabi ka lang ng tabi. Every month. Go to the next slide. Di ba? Investing a fixed amount of money, regular intervals, long period of time into your favorite stocks, the blue chips, or the mutual funds, the equity index fund. Like what we call easy investment program. No? So if you look at the next slide, you would see, ganun lang yan. Nagtatabi ka lang, 5,000 pesos a month. Over time, your average cost will go down. When the market, the Philippine recovers, automatically prices of stocks, the index will always go up. Okay? So this is the first part. Parang simple lang ba? Doktora, simple lang ba? Katingin na ba yan? Okay, anyway. Let me go to the second round, which is what we call active investing. The problem in the stock market is after 10 years of passive investing, 10 taon na, di ba? Nagtatabi ka. You've been investing for 10 years. So you have about 1.2, 1.3 million pesos. Ngayon may problema ka na. Bakit may problema? Kasi the stock market all over the world, not only in the Philippines, will always experience what we call volatility. The problem is market can go down 10, 20, 30, 50%. Parang nangyari sa pandemic natin. It dropped 50%. Kailangan na intindihan what we call risk on, risk off. Even despite consistently solid earnings. So earnings of the companies are doing well, but prices can go down. So that's what we call value investing. Marami yan, maraming strategy yan. So I will just go over it very quick para maintindihan lang nila how we do this. No? What drive prices? Prices goes up. It's based on earnings, earnings, earnings. So it's really correlated. In theory, fair price, the fair value, should track earnings. So earnings are growing 10, 20% a year. Over the next 5 years, your equity price should do the same way. The problem is in reality. So the perception is it's correlated, but in reality, these are what happened. Prices goes up and down. In reality, price is also affected by other things. Our perception, our expectations, and our emotions. So in other words, if you're timing the market, you have a problem because kailangan naintindihan mo yung ginagawa mo. Kasi pag hindi mo lang din yung ginagawa mo, wala ka. Tatamaan ka niya. Akala mo magandang earnings, pero the market sentiment has changed. It can go down a lot. No? The next slide is all about understanding anong klaseng company binibili mo. Is it just a startup? Puro kwento lang? Is it a young growth, high growth, mature stable, or it's a declining business already? Kami, we basically study all these things. Tinitignan namin talaga yan. And we use different investment strategy para to be able to understand, to take advantage of market volatility when it goes up, it goes up and goes down. And the Philippines is basically in the mature growth, mature stable. Yung mga startup niyan, puro mga kwento pa. Wala pang, a lot of these companies, real startup, wala pa sa Philippine Stock Exchange. I think the Philippine Stock Exchange has opened it up now for startup to be able to participate. All these startup can now start applying to get themselves into an IPO, to a public listing. No? So if you look at the Philippines, it's puro mature growth, mature stables. That's the reason why it's not exciting enough kasi matagal ang long-term investing into all these blue chip companies. No? Ang gusto lang lahat ng mga bata, the young people especially, active trading, kailangan nasa startup sila, mga penny stock, mga kwento, pero walang revenues, walang earnings. And basically, they're just gambling and speculating every day, especially now with the Bitcoin, Ethereum, NFT, lahat sila nasa eToro, Robinhood, lahat nagsusugal. No? Lahat nagsusugal. All right, the next one is for us, we look at market crashes are also needed to get higher returns. Kailangan naintindihan mo yan. Is it a market-driven crash due to political, due to interest rates, policy of government, natural disaster? And last year, pandemic, kasali na yan. That's why it can drop 50%, no? Because it's a pandemic. But we need that. We need that. For people like us, we understand markets. We take advantage of all these crashes so that we will eventually have higher returns. Kailangan naintindihan din yan. Okay? So please, I hope this is recorded para, you know, the biggest challenge with most people, like I said, it's your biases. No? You need to learn how to understand all these things because once you understand it, then the world is in your fingertip. Kailangan maintindihan niyo yan. The next one is, ito yung pinakagusto ng mga bata, gusto magsugal. The problem is when you are trading short-term, what we call active trading, there are so many rules of the game. Maraming rules yan. Pag hindi mo naintindihan yung mga rules na yan, kikita ka ng malaki. For example, ngayon, kumikita ka ng Dogecoin, Ethereum, ang laki ng inaakyat. Volatility is 30, 40, 50% a day. Can you stop it? A lot of people makes a lot of money out of all this pure speculation. Mga mining stocks, yung mga maraming kwento. Bakit yan? Problema, isang guhit lang, patay ka na. Hindi mo naintindihan kung ano nangyari sa inyo. That's why we created a school basically to teach all these things also. In fact, if you look at all the YouTube channel of COL, the trading, all the trading event, it's all free. Problema, can you see it? Naintindihan mo ba yung sinasabi namin? No? As against your biases. So let me just give you a small preview of how this is done. Investing and trading are totally different. Iba yan. Investing is wala ka masyadong ginagamit na time and skill. It's just nagtatabi ka lang. Look at the higher win rate, 90-95%. And less frequency lang. No? In trading, short term, from day trade to weeks, days to weeks, it's all about using a lot of technical analysis, understanding you have to use more time, more skills. The win rate is just 50-60%. But do you have the skill? Do you have the skill? Do you have a craft that you have honed over na naintindihan mo kung paano ginagawa yan? Even for us, we have CTS, we have a global trading group, a company. Basically, a lot of it takes time, 2 to 3 years. It's like, you know, the problem with the platform today, with the social media, is that you can already open an account and basically start investing or start trading. Pwede ka na magsugal ka agad. You want to learn this craft, it takes years. That's why when people ask me, can we take it to the next level? Can we be a professional trader? The answer is no. The answer is no. You have to understand how this is done, but you need to focus on your business. have a skill, be a coder, be able to be a professional so that you would be able to generate cash flow and start doing your long-term investing, di ba? Passive investing. To become an active trader or an active investor, you need to know the rules of the game. Kailangan naintindihan niyo yan. Pag hindi niyo, kasi today, pag social media, ang daming magaling. Kumita ng Ethereum, 8 times, 5 times, tuwang-tuwa sila. The market basically will let you make a lot of money. The problem is when it starts going down, 85 to 90% of the people who speculate in the market. When the market goes down, wipe out yan, ubus lahat yan. They will make a lot of money. They can make 1 month, 2 months, they make a lot of money. After isang crash lang, ubus na lahat yan. No? We are seeing it also in the US right now. This Robinhood, naubos lahat yan. Yung GameStop nila, yung AMC nila, all speculation, all speculation. Things that you don't understand, eventually will go down. Eventually will go down. And this will create a lot of problems for a lot of people because most people today are basically trading all these alternate coins. I was telling this morning, I was just congratulating a friend of mine. He said, oh, all my friends are making a lot of money. I said, you should be happy for them. The only thing you have to advise them that they have to learn the rules of the game. Pag hindi, isang guhit lang, ubos na lahat sila. And you have seen me, you can go to my Facebook channel, we basically always write, we don't say, don't do it. We always write examples of how this is being done. Okay? Look at the next slide. Most of the people today, is because they are unprofitable trader because they don't know what they're doing. Then the boom bust trader, the stage 2, basically they can make a lot of money, lose a lot of money. They survive, but they don't really make money through time. The third is the most profitable trader. What we call the profitable. You need rules. Everything, you treat trading as a business. Negosyo yan. Hindi nagsusugal yan. Hindi nagsusugal yan. Okay? The next one is, look at it. You need to understand what you can control and what you cannot control. Diba? When we do controlling, it's called systematic trading. You know what's your risk, your entry, your exit, the reason for position sizing it, for doing it, what you're trading. Kailan naintindihan nun yan. How often do you trade? Your reaction towards the outcome, it's a process. That's why we call it systematic. What you cannot control, anything can happen today, tomorrow. Nobody knows. No? So that's why we always have to use systematic, a process approach of doing all this active trading. And look at the next one. Look at all the rules. Ang daming rules. So sasakit lang ang ulo ninyo. Okay, that's why when they ask us, can you make it a living? The answer is no. In even our own trading, we have our risk managers watching them every day already. And most of them takes about 3 to 5 years to become a successful trader. All right, so these are warning to the young people who are participating. Parang gusto mo maging piloto, akala mo, nasa simulator ka, marunong ka na. Hindi ho. Kailangan, takes years of experience of the different market condition. Kailangan naintindihan niyo yan. Pag hindi niyo na naintindihan yan, isang guhit lang, ubos lahat ang pera ninyo. Tapos mag-uumpisa ka naman. Bakit sinabi kasi ng guru, kailangan bumili ako. So you're not following. In other words, you are being fed. No? What to do. Here, we teach you how to fish, not give you fish. Because you give you fish, you eat for a day. Teach you how to fish, you eat for a lifetime. Okay, so let me close by sharing a few things which I think is very important. Financial confidence. What is this? You need to find your passion, your field. Anong gusto mo, di ba? If you are a computer engineer, be the best computer. If you are going to be a cybersecurity consultant, a data scientist, please, or a doctor, please. Focus on your profession and start learning how to do this passive investing. Very important yan. No? You need the cash flow for you to be able to see all this active investing. Kailangan maintindihan nila yan. Pag hindi nila naintindihan, magkakaproblema ho kayo. Pero kailangan may profession, meron kayong main business. You know, they ask me, Mr. Lee, how did you become so good in what you do? Sabi ko, maswerte ako because I'm an entrepreneur. I started basically selling wallpaper, selling blinds, selling carpets, selling furnitures. That's what I did. That's my business. Sideline lang namin yung CTS Global. Today, yes, COL Financial became big, but that was after 22 years. 20 years of advocacy because we want to educate the Filipino people. So that's why if you go to our website, we believe that all Filipinos deserve to be rich. Why do we say that? Because we know how to do this. The problem is, are you ready to receive it? Naintindihan ba ninyo yan? May mga problema ho ba kayo sa buhay? No? So the second one is what Dr. Malyari was saying. Di ba? You need to surrender all your traumas to God. Accept that life is not fair. Di ba? So kami, for example, like me, I always share this with my children, my grandchildren. It's called gratitude. We need to understand we are blessed. From where I started, 8 pesos a day to where I am today, I am blessed talaga. And I was fortunate because I was loved unconditionally by my parents. I was never criticized. I had so many years in college. Hindi ko pa matapos-tapos. Hindi ko pa matapos-tapos. That's why I need you to understand that sinasabi ni Dr. Malyari is the right thing. Kailangan naintindihan mo yan. Take charge. If you are going to be a salesman, be the best salesman. If you are going to be the janitor, in fact, I always have an example. Yung gwardiya namin dati dito. Ngayon, every night time, siya ang nagbumubukas sa mga computer namin. Siya ang nagme-maintain ng computer namin sa data centers namin sa Makati. Additional sa income yan. Because may malasakit. Because when you see them, then I don't have to hire another engineer, computer engineer to watch over that nightly. Remote control, siya ang nagme-make sure that all the servers are running perfectly. So may side hustle siya, being a watchman for our computer data center. Di ba? So ganun kailangan natin yan. Kailangan na, kaya natin to. Kaya natin to. Mas anong kahirap na nangyayari sa inyo, nag-umpisa kayo, walang problema. Just be the best. If you're going to be a janitor, be the best janitor. Me, as a salesman, as an entrepreneur, I always teach 2 things. Sell the best product, quality product, and the best service. And that's how I built my business for the last 43 years. I started with selling wallpaper lang, then became window covering, then floor covering, system furnitures, chairs. I have the works, and nag-sideline ako because of my love of financial market. No? The third one, you have to start today. Believe in the Philippine grocer. These 2 will pass. Kailangan naintindihan nila. Alam mo, the problem with the Philippines is all about politics. That's why there was always a joke. In the 1960s, the Philippines, after 50 years, is the most prospective country. I'm telling you, talaga, the prospect is fantastic. We have good people. We have good people. Look at our people. We work basically. Kung wala dito sa Pilipinas, lumalabas tayo more than 10 to 15 million people going out, try to make money to provide for their family. Where can you find that? The most beautiful people in the world, in the world. But you need to understand, politics will always be here in the Philippines. That's why palagi ko sinasabi, good and evil coexist. Tayo, we just choose to be good, di ba? And try to help in our own small way how to build the capital market in the Philippines. But it's already 22 years for COL. It was 22 years. It was a long journey, no? So if you're young, it's time in the market. Start setting aside a small number of money and start investing. You can go to Gindes. There are a lot of platforms already, no? The next one is you need to find your purpose. So in our search for what is this purpose? For example, me, and I teach it to my children, and even my own people, I said, you need, when you become successful, you need to go to the next level. Next level. So you have gratitude. Then you have to go to being generous with your time, helping other people. Because once you do that, your life is in a different level. Nasa ibang level ka na because you're helping people without expecting anything in return. Wala kang hinihingi. You do this because you want to help people, because you're blessed. Gratitude. Help the next person beside you. Then your business over time, it's called the law of reciprocity. Automatically, you will do well. In terms of your family, in terms with your friends, relationship with your businesses, makikita mo yan. Mahal tayo ng Diyos. God is good. Always remember that. Help other people. Once you help them, automatically, 10 times ang blessing natin. But you do not expect it, ha? Kasi maraming sinasabi, tumutulong ako sa, what's it in for me? Hindi pwede ho yan. Generosity has to come from not expecting anything in return. And the last, of course, is it's all for free. Join my channel, EKL Learning. Everything is free. No? So I hope that all of you have learned something today. But before I end, I want to share with you a video. No? A video of the Starbucks that which I was being sharing. No? Let's look at the video. 5 minutes lang video. Very powerful. Yung sinabi kanina ni Dr. Malyari.
There's not a single person on this planet who haven't heard of Starbucks, world's biggest coffee house company. But did you know that the former CEO of Starbucks, Howard Schultz, was born and raised in poverty, barely making ends meet? And when things got really tough, he even had to sell his blood a couple of times. This is the success story of Howard Schultz, how he went from living in poverty and struggling for money to survive to transforming Starbucks into a $100 billion company. And he was just a young boy who never stopped dreaming, and here is why you shouldn't stop too. He was born in a very poor family. He spent his childhood living in a small one-bedroom apartment from a public housing project. His father was an army vet and a truck driver and spent most of his life working low-paid jobs. When Howard was only 7 years old, while delivering diapers, his father fell on the ice and broke his leg. And because of this, he was fired from his job. And with no medical insurance and no savings, his family was struggling for money. That image of his father laying on the couch, feeling hopeless, crushed and defeated, left a permanent mark in his memory. It was one of the biggest defining moments in Howard's life. And to get away from all of these problems, he used to sit on the staircase in his building, dreaming of a better life. He played football in high school and earned an athletic scholarship to go to college, but he didn't want to play sports and decided to major in communications. So to pay for college, he had to take student loans and worked many odd jobs to make ends meet. Few times he even had to sell his blood for money to survive. After graduating from college, Howard worked at a ski lodge and as a salesman, but he had a desire to work at Starbucks. At that time, Starbucks had 3 owners and only sold coffee beans. So at the age of 29, after a full year of convincing the owners to hire him, he finally got a job at Starbucks. While on a business trip to Italy, he walked into an Italian coffee shop and he was fascinated by his experience while drinking coffee. He was amazed by the fact that the owners of the coffee shops actually knew their customers and they even called them by their names while serving them coffee. Excited, he traveled back to the US trying to convince the Starbucks owners to accept these incredible new ideas, but the owners rejected him. So Howard quit Starbucks and went on to create his own coffee company called Il Giornale. But he had no money to fund this company. In the course of the year I spent trying to raise money, I spoke to 242 people and 217 of them said no. Try to imagine how disheartening it can be to hear that many times why your idea is not worth investing in. It was a very humbling time. But eventually, enough people believed in his vision and decided to invest in his business. He worked extremely hard to open his first coffee shop where he could replicate the experience he had in Italy and finally implement his ideas. After a few years, Starbucks went bankrupt and Howard bought the company and became CEO of Starbucks. He rebranded his company with the Starbucks name and expanded across the United States. Today, Starbucks has more than 30,000 stores around the world and market value over $100 billion. And Howard has an advice for you. In life, you can blame a lot of people and you can wallow in self-pity, or you can pick yourself up and say, listen, I have to be responsible for myself. I believe life is a series of near misses. A lot of what we ascribe to luck is not luck at all. It's seizing the day and accepting responsibility for your future. It's seeing what other people don't see and pursuing that vision. I feel so strongly that the reason I'm here is I dreamed big dreams. I dreamed the kind of dreams that other people said would not be possible. I cannot offer you any specific secret recipe for success, the perfect plan, how to reach the pinnacle of success in the business. But my own experience suggests that starting from scratch and achieving much more than what I dream about is quite possible. But if you wait for the perfect conditions, you'll never get anything done. But the good thing is, you can make a decision and take control now. Remember something. A year from now, you may wish you had started today. So, what's your story?
Okay, thank you very much. I hope you learn something, your student learned something from today's presentation.
Ayan. Thank you so much, Sir Edward, for that very, parang sa akin, it's like a sumptuous dinner. Like, you have everything in there. Parang wala na akong masyadong maitanong kasi nasagot na sa kalagitnaan ng discussion ni Sir. But anyway, what I like most about what Sir Edward said is that you really have to find that profession or something that you're really good at. Kasi most of our students think now when you're into investing, 100% ng oras mo is really allotted to that purpose. So I think yung misconception na yun ay nasagot ni Sir Edward. So thank you, Sir, for that. I think it's really genuine kasi it's coming from the heart based on experience. Lahat is coming from the experience of Sir Edward in 40 plus years in the industry. So at this point, I think I should be reading the questions posted by our students. But I think if I'm gonna summarize most of the questions, Sir Edward, they are actually doon po sa point of view po kasi ng mga students natin. Mas marami po yung takot at pangamba. Dahil nga po wala pang experience. They're saying na, what if you're just earning this much? How can you really start? Or during this time of crisis, is it a good time to invest? Halos ganun po yung kanilang questions. And aside from that, they're also talking about cryptocurrency. How do you feel about it? Because ang dami pong uncertainties about it. And yet, we are reading so much about it. So, yun po yung mga few questions that our students have posted in advance and this morning po.
Yes, Mildred, no? Mildred ba? Huh? Katrina?
Yes po.
Sorry. Oh, Katrina, you know, I give a lot of talks and they all ask me about the cryptocurrency. No? It's going to be because it's participated now by big institutions like now. Last week was Goldman Sachs. All the big US companies are now participating. But they have to understand what they're putting is less than 1%. No, 1%. For example, Elon Musk early this year or late last year talk about investing in Bitcoin. It was just less than 1% of the total portfolio of what they had. No? Just parang makasali lang sila. No? But the real, if you look at the annual stockholders meeting of Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger, what he said is the most perfect. He will never invest in something that is not productive, non-productive. So in other words, you can talk about all Bitcoin that is going to become the next currency. You know, people can use it to do a lot of things. You know, to purchase things. But in reality, what you have today is your cell phone. Cell phone already, di ba? Yung GCash, pwede ka na bumili ng anything using your GCash. You don't need an alternative currency. And the worst thing is, it's not issued by the bank. It's not issued by the government. The crypto is not sponsored by the government. Because how can the government, it's almost $1 trillion. $1 trillion in terms of, in total market cap for all the cryptocurrency. Are you telling me the government is willing to participate, let you participate? Once it becomes too much already, what will happen is the government, like for example, India started outlawing already. Russia, all these countries will start outlawing it already. Yes, today it's still doing well, especially the Ethereum, the Dogecoin, whatever. But you have to remember, anything that is non-productive is pure speculation. Pang-sugal lang yan. Pang-entertainment lang yan. No? Marami dyan. For example, early this year, it's what we call the SPACs, the special vehicle that was created. Makyat yan, ngayon down 80%. No? A lot of this product, the nice thing about the US is basically the world, basically, it's called self-regulation. You can do whatever you want, speculate, people, all the participants. But as long as there is no fraud, pag natalo ka, problema mo yan. That's why 97%, 85 to 90%, by the end of the day, when you're speculating, you know, during our time, my dad's time, 1960s, 70s, you know, the stock market can go 20, 30 times. Yung mga penny stocks na mga oil companies, lahat umakyat yan. Isang guhit lang, ubos lahat yan. Marami rin I have a lot of my dad's stock certificate are all basically toilet paper today. So you can see that if it's pure speculation, kailangan maintindihan mo yan, then you have to know the rules of the game. Paano mo binibili, when do you buy it, when do you sell it, and then make sure that the government doesn't intervene, because if the government intervene, automatically, ubos na yan. No? So, yes, I understand it's so easy to open an account. Right? Coin.ph, you can open Binance, Coinbase, just open it, $100, $50. Pwede ka mag-speculate. Eh. It's too simple, it's too easy. It's just too easy. I remember 3 years ago, 2018 yata, nagsalita ako dun sa SMX eh. I was also invited by the Junior Phoenix yata yan eh. I remember I was talking to 5,500 kids, and they asked me the same thing. At that time, 19,000. It went down to 3,000. Today, of course, it's back to 50,000. So, kailangan naintindihan mo yan. Kasi pag hindi mo naintindihan, sugal lang yan. Sugal lang yan.
Thank you so much, Sir Edward, for that clarification. And I think you're really speaking at the point of view of value investing, because if something doesn't add value to something, you don't believe that it's gonna create growth. So very ano po talaga, I think it's coming from experience, kasi value and price is different, right? So thank you, sir, for that clarification po. Okay.
What you said, Ma'am Cassie, ano?
Ano yun, Sir Lau? Sorry.
I said that I agree with what you said, that value investing is different from what the normal persons think of kapag sinasabi nating stock market investing and all.
The problem is, it's all about expectation, di ba? It's all about expectation. For example, today, in the PSE, maraming mura dyan eh. Problema, because of the sentiment, di ba? Bad sentiment, because of this pandemic, there's no investor. Walang foreign investor selling. The foreign investors have been selling for the last 11 years. But if we look at the market, murang-mura yan, di ba? Pero pwede pa bang bumaba? Possible. But the nice thing about it today is that when you're buying all these good values, all these companies are because they were hit by the pandemic. Once the government put their act together, vaccination comes into play, reopening of the economy, babalik yan eh. Di ba? So kailangan naintindihan mo yan eh. It's all about, kasi itinatawag namin value trap. Mura na, baka mas mura pa, di ba? That's why you need to understand in the Philippines, mahirap talaga itong stock market na ito eh. You have to look at it from a longer term perspective. Kailangan investing talaga yan. Kasi pag hindi mo naintindihan yan, expectation mo, pagbili mo, aakyat na. Wala. It's too boring, di ba? Parang wala kang ginagawa. So araw-araw, ang gagawin mo, then magsusugal ka na sa Forex, sa Ethereum na, all these alternate coins, uso-uso lang yan. Yung tinatawag natin dati na weather lang yan. Minsan umakyat. Ang problema, do you have enough understanding of how this is done? Kasi people will show you, go to the social media, YouTube, madaaning manggagaling dyan eh. Di ba? Sobrang, you know, I watch everybody. I look at everybody because I'm an educator eh. Di ba? I teach financial literacy, I teach active investing, I teach active trading. That's why I see everybody, what they're saying, what they're doing. I need to understand it. And it's all about managing your risk. Managing your risk. You don't manage your risk. Pag pinamahan ka lang, wala na. It takes so long for you to recover it. A lot of people don't understand that. Managing risk is the most important. Kaya naintindihan mo yan.
I totally agree, sir. Kasi ako, sir, based on my few years of experience as a teacher, I think po, ang dami pong misconceptions ng mga students namin since we're from the province. That when you say investing, kasi para akala mo it's associated with gambling. So I think with what you have shared with us this morning, pinakita niyo po yung difference ng trading sa investing. And so there is absolutely no loss when you go for long-term investing. So, and I think po merong kaming, kumbaga parang we are so intimidated by that word that it feels like us as provincianos, we're from Tarlac, and you guys are from NCR, our students have this certain feeling na, kasi sa barrio lang kami, it's far from our reality, our parents didn't practice it. So what do you expect na you're surrounded by these simple people who has no idea what's going on in the stock market, and then finally you tell them, this is how the capital market works, blah, blah, blah. So mas clouded po ng takot kaysa sa tiwala yung aming mga students. So maraming salamat, sir, for clarifying all of these misconceptions to our students.
At this moment, Ma'am Cassie, sorry to butt in, but may we ask the students to post their questions or comments? So aside from the advanced questions sent by the students.
O nga po, binasa ko na kasi in advance,
yes.
Pinilter ko lang.
Yes, thank you, Ma'am Cassie.
Yes, Sir Edward, is it the correct time to really start investing? Kung estudyante ako, I'm very intimidated with the market. I can start small, as you said kanina nga po. But is it the right time today, now that we are in a pandemic?
We call this crisis create opportunities, di ba?
Nabasa ko nga po yun, sir.
Crisis create opportunities, and that's why we always, I mean, I don't welcome it, but that's how we do well, right? We basically understanding what is perception and what is reality, right? So when we see values, when we see people are afraid, and then they're basically exceeding the market, it's basically selling at a huge discount. So for us, like I explained kanina, passive investing is about, it's time in the market. How long you're in the market. Continuously, nagtatabi ka lang ng pera. Kasi pag hindi mo ginagawa yan, you get emotional, di ba? Right? Di ba? So mag-aaway with us, with, you know, there are a lot of things that are happening around us, not only in the Philippines, but the region, by the world, policies, how this is being created. That's why the most important for each and everyone, like I said a while ago, focus on your work, focus on your business. and just set aside 10, 20% and buy the best companies and let them work for you. Money is working for you. That is the best strategy, especially for a lot of the provinciano that you're saying. Let me share with you a provinciano. I have one guy who we hired about 5 years ago. He made so much money for us. He is a provinciano. He finished in Siliman University. He's now back to Polomolok in General Santos. He makes a lot of money for us every year, right? So you cannot, yes, maybe isolated, but they always have to have that dream, diba? Kasi everything today is available, You can Google search it. Ako, pag hindi ko naintindihan, mag-YouTube lang ako, mag-Twitter lang ako, makikita ko na sila lahat, Diba? I learn from them. I have to learn from them. And the easiest to learn is start today, so that you can feel it, diba? Kasi if you don't do it, like yung sinabi kanina ni Starbucks, if you don't do it, you will regret that I did not start last year, diba? Yung sinasabi ni Schultz, diba? So you need to take action. I remember I attended in Indonesia. There are two kinds of failure. There was a closing. Galing din, but doctor din, mga doctorate, magkagaling sila. One is that thinking without action. Yung isa, action without thinking. O, diba? Right? So, kailangan, you need both. Kailangan maintindihan mo. You have to act now, but then you have to learn what it is. Hindi yung tira-tira, Bitcoin tayo lahat. Sige, Bitcoin tayo. Dogecoin tayo. Puro sugal. Diba? So, kailangan naintindihan mo yan. Kasi pag hindi nila naintindihan yan, you can have a temporary making so much money, isang guhit lang, ubos na natin. And that's the sad part about speculation. That's why we call it speculation. Anything that is not producing any value at all is speculation. Sugal. Kung gusto mo magaling magsugal, kailangan naintindihan mo the rules of the game.
Right.
But I'm telling you, sometimes the rules can change overnight because it can be intervened by the government. If the government feels na mali na yan, nag-i-intervene yan. Diba? So kami, we have to have the discipline. Alam naman na akit yan But we need that discipline. Right? Hindi porke pwede kumita ng pera, kikitain mo yan. Hindi ho pwede yan. Kailangan, you have to do the right thing. Kasi pag hindi mo ginagawa yan, akala mo makakalusot ka, gagawa ka ng kagaguhan, one day, nakalusot ka ngayon, nakalusot ka bukas, nakalusot ka 9 times. The last one, isang mali lang, ubus ka na. So kinita mo lahat. It's called the inverse pyramiding. Ubus ka rin yan. Diba? That's why most people, that's why I really believe 85 to 90% lose money is because by the end of the rainbow, hindi mo naintindihan, wala, isang guhit lang, ubus ka na. Diba? So yung mga oras na sinayang mo, you should have spent time putting value into it, meaning building a business, di ba? Side hustle, paano mo ginagawa yan? Because I teach this to the young people also. It's all about the miracle of compounding. If you provide a good service, a good product, you take care of your client. One client, we refer you to the second one. We refer you to the third one. And then it's called the miracle of compounding also. It's the same as investing. Building businesses is the same. I started building business in 1978. I had 150,000 pesos. Dalawa yung partner ko, 3 of us. Basically, I ran the business. And what we call, I teach this also. It's called 20% you have to pay me kasi I make money. I'm the one handling the business. 20% I pay my shareholders. 60% reinvested. And this is where it came from. All the assets that I had started from that 150,000 pesos in 1978. And I share this in all my videos. That's how it is. That's why I was appreciative of Junior Achievement of the Philippines, because in 1972, I was exposed to the JA program. Mini companies yan, teaching us how to be entrepreneurs. And one of our mentors came from London School of Economics. Doon niya ako in-expose sa financial market. And that's the reason why, till today, we participate in helping young people to participate in all the JA programs. That's what we do. We just had last week, we just had a mini competition. In the Philippines, when I was on the board, We won the FedEx Award in Korea. No, in Japan. We won in Beijing the second Company of the Year. Company of the Year. And 3 years ago, it was held in the Philippines. We won the FedEx and the Company of the Year in the region of Asia Pacific. So you have to be proud Filipinos. Go to the JA, you can see all these young kids, basically high school kids, junior, senior kids, creating their own product. Galing talaga ang mga Pilipino. Kaya maintindihan niyo yun eh. Di ba? Kasi pag hindi niyo naintindihan, akala niyo galing kang probinsyano, mali ang thinking. Di ba? Mali ang thinking. Kaya natin to. We Filipinos, I always say that, we Filipinos can. Kailangan matatalino tayo, magaling lang. It's just that we need to understand the process lang, di ba? Dahil yung sinabi kanina ni Schultz, self-pity. Hindi ho self-pity yan. Maraming mga galing sa probinsya. Sa probinsya, maraming mga galing din dyan. And I just shared with you, one of my best global traders sa CTS Global, came from Polo, came from Silliman University. Maraming, not on the top schools, marami talaga sa probinsya rin. Because that's why we created a school so that we can see talents from all over the Philippines. Yan ang kailangan. We're just finishing my internship program. And more than 700 applicants. And we're looking just for 24 people. And a lot of them came from the provinces also. Di ba? And that's the most important because we're giving free education to understand, because I believe the next stage is that I really believe that if they understand the rules of the game, how this is done, the Philippines can be an BPO of the fund managers of the world. Meaning, kasi naintindihan mo na di ba? So these are all the dreams that we have, di ba? Teaching, educating people, not to gamble, but to understand a process so that they can get a good job, di ba? Pag naintindihan mo how this is done, syempre, di ba? Bakit pa sila mag-train? Na-train na natin sila. Those are the advantages of education. That's why when people call me to give a talk, hindi ako pumipili kailangan sa best schools. Wala yan. Pangmasa ho tayo. Because the rich people don't need us. Diba? Hindi mo? Hindi na kailangan tayo. Ang kailangan talaga tumulong yung mga don't have access to this kind of financial literacy.
True. I agree, sir. Alam niyo po, super ina-admire ko po yung line niyo every time meron kayong sasabihin, sir. Ang sinasabi niyo, dapat naiintindihan mo yan. Coming from a perspective of an educator, especially right now, sir, very impatient po kasi yung younger generation natin when it comes to consuming information. Gusto lang nila yung mababaw na portion, but you always dictate, dapat naiintindihan mo yan. I always tell my students, huwag kayong magsisimula ng kahit na anong hindi nyo naiintindihan. That's why, Tagalog na Tagalog, dapat naiintindihan nyo yan. So don't get into something that you don't fully understand. Thank you, Sir Edward. I think can we accommodate still questions? Kaya pa ba, Sir Lau? Can we still accommodate questions? Although I have a personal question, sir, I hope I can raise it up kasi coming from 40 years of experience, I want to know if who are the investors and the leaders that you look up to, and what are the specific values that you personally learn from these people?
Yon.
You know, I learned a lot from reading books. Like I said a while ago, because how do you say this? My academics is really terrible. If you look at all my track record, really terrible. But I was very fortunate, no? Of course, I'm very close to my parents. My father basically never criticized me. That's why I have to draw up all these traumas that most people are going through diba? And they have to accept that these things can happen to you. Because if you keep on blaming your parents, whatever, walang mangyayari sa buhay mo. You blame the government, wala rin mangyayari sa'yo. So you need to take care of yourself, being responsible. So I was just very fortunate kasi yung daddy ko salesman. So puro maraming kwento. So he basically, when I was growing up, Every breakfast meeting yan, kasama ko yan. So he will talk about the Henry C family, the Gokong Ways. Yung mga the best entrepreneurs, the best the conglomerates that are here. So I was basically exposed at a very young age to all these people, no? And as I was growing up, I read a lot of books also. Number one is simple lang yan, The One Up on Wall Street by Peter Lynch. Diba? Basically, pag hindi mo naintindihan, pumunta lang sa mall. Anong mga pinakamabenta? Kagaya dati, when we were doing it, Jollibee, Mang Inasal, McDonald's, Starbucks. So you can see what you're buying. Di ba? Nakikita mo sila. The best, the biggest back. So, sinisimplify ni Peter Lynch yan, One Up on Wall Street. The second book which I also shared is what we call Finding the Next Starbucks by Michael Moe. You can just watch it in the YouTube. It's called The 4 Ps. People, the right people, the principal. Product, what the product. Potential, may potential ba yan? Predictable. In other words, kwento lang ba yan? O may talagang negosyo? So in other words, you just read that book, simplified. Or kung hindi ayaw mo magbasa, YouTube mo lang yan. Finding the Next Starbucks by Michael Moe. The 4 Ps. Andyan na yan. Di ba? So, another one, which is fantastic, if you look at the NYU professor Aswat Damorel, that talks about, yung pinakita ko sa iyo, yung corporate cycle. Kailangan maintindihan mo yan. Is it startup? Is it young growth, high growth? And it's free. Go to YouTube. In other words, hindi na kailangan mag-enroll ka sa NYU. Nandun lahat, libre. But are you willing to receive it? Are you, di ba? Gusto mo maintindihan mo yung sinasabi niya. Kasi mahaba eh. Pag nagtuturo yan, kailangan naintindihan mo yan. Di ba? Like me, I have so many lectures, I have so many talk for the last 10 years. The problem is, nakikinig ba? Kaya may kwento pa nga ako dito eh. Ang kwento ko, I play golf sa Manila Golf. So yung mga kadi ko, so nakikita nila ako sa mga lecture. Sir, totoo ba ito? Pwede ko mag-invest? Oh, pwede yan. Sabi ko, mag-invest ka. Tuloy-tuloy lang. Di ba? So, may pinabili ako. Tignan mo, so, anong sinabi ko dun sa, sinabi ko dun sa my head of sales na operations. Basta pag may mga kadi namin nag-open an account sa COL, make sure they just buy the index fund. Index ka lang. Huwag ka na mag-isip. Di ba? Ayun ang ginawa nila. Sinabi ko, PSE index. Iba yung bibiliin nila. Diba? Diba? Sinabi ko sila, bumili sila ng Shell, Pilipina Shell. Kasi dahil kay Jeng, sabi, Pilipina Shell tayo, bibili ng Petron. Ganun talaga ang tao kasi marunong mag-isip eh. Diba? So people will take a while kasi nang marunong sila mag-isip eh. For them to trust you. Diba? Kasi because they have to remember, investing is a probability game also. Diba? So if you have yung perception mo ng stock market, gusto mong kumita kaagad. Siyempre, pag bumaba yan, natatakot na sila, nawawala na sila. Tawa ko ng tawa palagi. Sinabi ko pa sa kadi ko, basta pag natalo ka, akong bahala sa'yo. Takot pa rin. Di ba? Di ba? Yun yung biggest challenge eh. Di ba? These are the biggest, because they need to learn, they need to understand it, then they need to manage the risk. Di ba? Anong portion lang for investment lang? Right? Kasi they need to have their cash flow. Kailangan may cash flow ka eh. Kasi wala kang ibang profession. Mahirap talaga yan. That's why kung gusto mo maging salesman, kailangan magaling na salesman ka talaga. Di ba? Hindi yung manloloko ha. Yung salesman na talaga na you know how to explain your product well. Di ba? So that you can understand what they need. Give them the best product and the best service. And that's how I built my business for the last 43 years. It's called compounding. Miracle of compounding talaga yan.
Sir, naniniwala ba kayo sa swerte? Sortihan ba ang investment, sir?
It's called luck goes to the prepared mind. If you are not hardworking, paano ka sa swerte? Imposible yan. If you do not put time, effort, skill, being there all the time, wala yan, kalokohan. Yung swerte mo, yes, natsambahan mo. Pero bukas ubus din yan. Look at all those people who won the lottery ticket. Lotto 5 years from now, wala na. They wish that they did not win. Kasi it destroyed their lives. Because they are not ready to receive that $1 million, $5 million, di ba? And look at all the the example that I showed you. Yung mga nangyari, yung mga professional athlete, $300-400 million yan. Ang daming pera. But they're not ready. Pag lumabas sila, 10-20 nakaalalay sa kanila. Bibili ng bagong kotse, bibili ng wala. Well, that's not, look at all the very successful young actors, actresses. They destroy their lives also because they're not ready. Diba? They were forced to do something which they're not happy. Diba? That's why I always tell my children, grandchildren, are you happy? That's the most important. Or you're just doing it because of your parents. Come on, hindi pwede yan. Kailangan, you have to spend time with them, explain to them, diba? Because a lot of these talented people, eventually, short lang 30, 40 years old, wala na sila. Diba? That's normal. That's very normal. Because they're not ready. Diba? That's spiritually also, may spiritual problem din yan. Diba? Kasi, syempre, you have to have strict parents for you to become disciplined. Diba? Pag bata ka, diba? Syempre, maraming disiplina yan. But in the end, trauma ka naman. After a while, 20, 30 years old, may pera ka na, ayaw mo na. Diba? Then, mag-aaway na kayo ng pamilya. Diba? These are the challenges that we see face every day. Every day. And that's why I have to talk about the psychological blocking you to become successful. Diba? If you don't have a purpose, in other words, kung wala kang purpose, diba? Kumikita ka, tapos iniisip mo lang sarili mo, wala yan. Diba? You will not grow. Spiritually, you will not grow also. Diba? If you're not helping the other less fortunate ones, wala rin yan. You will not be very, very successful if you don't have that kind of a mindset. Kailangan may mindset ka dyan na you are here, you're blessed, you're fortunate, you're doing well, you need to pay it forward. Kailangan may forward yan. Pag walang forward yan, walang mangyayari. Your life will be meaningless. Di ba? How many steak can you eat? How many cars can you drive? How many houses can you have? Wala. It's all about money. Wala. Pero si Dr. Balyari sinabi na ayaw daw ng umaman. Hindi naman ho pwede. Kailangan yumaman ho kayo. Di ba? Para you can help people. Ganun lang talaga yan. Okay, Dr. I don't need to have a lot of money. It's not true. Money is very important because that money can help the less fortunate. So God gave you the blessing to know how to make money. You have to make as much money as you can and help the next guy. Because if you don't do that, wala yan. So money is evil. Wala na. Patay na tayo dito. Wala nangyayari sa buhay natin. Diba? Ganun lang talaga yan.
Okay. Sir, this time may babasahin naman po akong question coming from one of our students. She said, good morning po. Nag-try po ako mag-invest sa GCash. Which starts at 50 pesos. My question po is it good for long-term investment? I think this is a good question. Coming from Amalia, from FM3C po.
Pag long-term investment na, kailangan bumili ka ng meron silang meron na yata silang mga funds doon mutual funds Pwede ka na bumili ng fractions
And another question daw po, sir, is it better to buy individual stocks or mutual funds na po?
Pag nag-uumpisa ka, siyempre, mutual funds. Index fund. Para it's a basket of stocks So wala ka nang isipin. I'll give you an example. You know, I was in Singapore a few years back. And I was thanking the fund manager for investing in our company. Small, medium cap siya, mga small cap siya. Sabi na Mr. Lee, I study everything. Whenever there's a institutional sales, give me a company. I read it. I look at it. I do my due diligence. I visit them. I check. I do my own discounted cash flow. Then I start accumulating. Kasi it's a small company, mga small cap, mid caps. The problem is, pag bumabaksak yung presyo, then I believe that maybe they know something that I don't. Matatakot din sila. Di ba? So if you're buying an index, wala ka nang isipin. For example, 2 years ago, di ba? On this Manila water thing, yung water concession, Ayala went from 1,000 to 380. Akala mo mawawala ng Ayala Corporation. Di ba? Kasi pag bumabagsak, matatakot ka. Can you imagine the best time to buy is 380 to 400? Ngayon, double na yung prayer. Di ba? Also, these are the things That's why nga the second part is active investing. Kailangan naintindihan mo yung mga kumpanya, naintindihan mo na yan, individual stocks. Siyempre, kung kami, individual stocks, gusto namin yan kasi naintindihan namin yan. But for beginner, nag-umpisa ka lang, the most important, nagtatabi ka, naglalagay ka, hinuhulog-hulog mo na yan. Kailangan yan, kailangan yan. O kung gusto mo,
It's like the modern day, sir, para siyang modern day na alkansya, but it's
yes,
already
yes.
compounding in its own.
Yes. Kung gusto mo, bumili ka ng Globe kasi Gcash eh, di ba? You're using your di ba? Mamahalin ako ni Ernest ko. Pero ganun na talaga yan, di ba? I don't know if it's available. Hindi ko lang alam kung individual stocks kung meron.
Okay. Sir, another question. Meron pa pong isa nagtanong. Sabi niya, good morning, sir. Can I invest daw po kung may utang siya?
Kung ang utang mo sa gobyerno, hindi kailangan magbayad, pwede.
Kung may pinagkakautangan, sir.
Eh kung nagpa-5-6 siya, kaya bayarin na muna yung 5-6 niya. Di ba?
Ma'am, kasi actually there's a question here posted in the Zoom chat box. I think
Sige
it's or he's one of our guests from the Philippine Air Force, Mr. Ervin Lagudgod. He said, "Good morning, sir. Thank you for the inspiring lecture. I am fortunate to start investing in the Philippine stock market way back 2011 when CUL Financial was still CitySec online. From 2011 to 2018, we experienced a bull run with gains reaching approximately 132%. However, those who started at peak at 9,000 plus and applied cost averaging up to now may have overexposed themselves to losses of more than 30%. What is your advice to the new investors that are blindly putting in money without fundamental or technical education or without considering the market is overbought? Or at which point are they entering within the resistance and support levels and are later on left frustrated because their expectations are not met? Actually, nangyayari talaga ito. So I really read it for
very
us
technical
to,
lang question
although I
ni
know,
sir.
yes, technical question siya na, but I know it was initially partially answered by Sir Edward a while ago, pero siguro may additional inputs pa siya. So let us hear from Sir Edward kung ano po yung additional inputs niya pa with regards to this question from our guest, Mr. Ervin Lagudgod.
It's a very real question. Very real. For the last 2013 peak, hanggang ngayon, the market just went sideways. Sideways to down. No? So the next question is, do you believe in the Philippine growth story? Because it did not change. The growth story is all about demographics. We have young population, 25, 24, 25 years old. That eventually, this will be the one that will be carrying the economy. GDP growth to grow. Because of this pandemic, parang may timeout muna. Parang nag-timeout muna lang yan. But I believe that the Philippines, like I said, beautiful country, beautiful people, sacrifice themselves, their families to go outside. Because today, there's also a challenge. Because sa labas, ayaw rin magtanggap ng tao. Di ba? Because it's just the world, basically, is closing its borders. Di ba? But I believe these two will pass. So you have to have that belief. Now, tinatabi mo, that's why the importance is you have to have a job, you have to have a business, a side hustle, learn and continue to just save and invest it. Because if you have that perception, like I said, it's just a peso cost average, nagtatabi ka lang 10-20%, and make sure you have enough cash flow to have your emergency fund and whatever, di ba? Just continue it another 5 to 10 years. Once this pandemic is out, and it will be out, you just don't know whether it's 2021, 2022, 2023, di ba? Depending on how the world reopen. And just to remind you, the world is the same. We're all in the same boat. It's all in the same boat. So what is really important is that you take care of yourself, right? Look for opportunities, During this period of difficulties, learn a new skill. Ako, marunong na rin ako mag-ukulele. I've never practiced ukulele. Last year, tingnan lang ko na YouTube, practice ako ng practice. Magaling na rin ako mag-ukulele, di ba? So these are a lot of things eh. Kailangan naintindihan craft, new skill, new craft. Sabi ko sa misis ko, malapit na rin ako marunong, magluluto na ako ng bangus, yung Spanish bangus sardines. Siyempre, di ba, magiging chef na rin ako, di ba? Those are the things that you need to keep yourself busy. Because if you continue to watch the news, my God, madidepress ka. So you take care of yourself, go exercise, learn a new skill, learn a new craft. And today, everything is available. Everything is available. You can learn your all this understanding how to do all this cash flow, whatever. Ask what the modern namin. Nandiyan na lahat yan. Nandiyan na lahat yan. And I really agree. Kasi the last 2012-13, wala na. The market just went sideways now. Maswerte siya. Nauna siya. Start kaya, it's all about time. Time in the market, not timing the market.
Right. I totally agree with you. Again, sir, napaka-hitik na hitik po yung mga learning lessons today, hindi lang sa stock market, but also values that we can apply in real life. I think for me talaga, ang stock market, sir, is a test of patience, a test of trust. So itong si Sir, what's his name? Si Sir from...
Irvin.
Sir
Irvin
Irvin,
from
yan.
Philippines.
Siguro yung na-experience niya ngayon na 30% loss is really a test of patience and trust in the Philippine capital market, that after this pandemic, sabi nga ni Sir Edward D, these two shall pass. Meron pa ba tayong questions, Sir Yulao? We still have?
There are actually some questions here on Zoom, pero they're already answered kanina eh.
Mukhang nasagot na rin.
While having the lecture, talagang ang dami na nating nakukuha eh. So let me just filter yung mga questions pa na nandito. Ito. I think this is interesting for the startup investors, no. Sabi niya, one of my classmates want to ask this question. I have opened a COL account. I would like to take this opportunity to ask, how can I invest in mutual funds? I know it's about taking risk, but every time I want to put funds in my account, there are corresponding fees. Also, when I want to buy or sell using my account, another is the 8K rule. I want to invest my money, but I need to take into consideration the 8K rule. What if I want to invest, but it's less than 8,000? Any advice? Thank you po. So, Sir Edward, that's the question of our newbie investor that opened her account in COL Financial.
I think that's a very good. We need to survive also, right? We need to have some fees for us to be able to continue doing this platform. I think mutual fund is the easiest way. Mutual fund is the easiest way. It's built in already. So I don't know the problem. There's some fees in the mutual fund. Diba? May mga fees yan. But I think that's normal. Anywhere in the world, you will get your... But the nice thing about the mutual fund, I think you can put 1,000 pesos. Andiyan na, built-in na lahat yan. Diba? So because if you worry too much about the fees, hindi ka makakaumpisa. Yung fees 8,000 to 25 pesos lang yan. Diba? That's 20 pesos lang. 20 pesos lang. Yes, of course, it's a lot. Kasi if you're only investing 1,000, then 20 pesos, malaki yan. Diba? 2% yan. But in reality, ganun talaga. We have to pay for our people to be able to service it. I understand the 8,000 kasi the 8,000, exacto dun sa 20 pesos. Yan ang sinasabi na. But I think it's very minimal for you to avoid paying those fees. You have to pay those fees talaga.
And
All right.